everybody, I'm back. Sorry this is not the Kagami Miraculous redesign video. I haven't been feeling 100% my best since, like, Saturday afternoon, and it's, it's Thursday as I'm recording this, so you can imagine, like, the trickling down. And my, I hate talking about it, but basically my mental health has also been kind of wonky, but it mostly has to do with the fact that I do have ADHD and I tend to hyperfocus a little too much. But now with the Owl House's Season 2 Part B, my hyperfocused nature has just been on full blast and it's just kind of taken over. And I know I didn't do a reaction to last week's episode. I was just so excited to see Hunter again that I really couldn't hold it in anymore. Some of you may understand what I'm about to say, and some of you may not, but I'm the kind of person that tends to lose their absolute mind over their favorite character. Hunter is not the first character for me to lose my mind over and just go absolutely bonkers for. But yeah, so knowing that this episode was going to be about Hunter, I really couldn't hold back waiting, so I ended up watching the live stream, and the episode was really, really good. I actually really enjoyed myself. I really liked that Lumity was the B-plot of the episode. That was kind of fun to see them running around and being absolutely adorable, as usual. And I know I seem like a very cynical person who doesn't care for love, but I do actually enjoy their dynamic. Is it a little too wholesome for me? Yes. But that's because I'm an angst queen, so... But I enjoyed it. As for the A-plot, the euphoria of the episode kind of blinded me from some of the problems. I understand that the show is basically doing a speed run because the show has been canceled and season 3 is just going to be 3 long, like, movie episodic styled. You know, this episode felt somewhat rushed in a way, not in, like, animation-wise, but mostly character development-wise. Gus was pretty spot on. It's funny to me that people always complained that Willow didn't have enough, like, character development or episodes dedicated to her, but the one character that no one talks about is Gus. Like, yes, he did have an episode dedicated to him, and he has a few side episodes dedicated to him as well, but they don't do very much, especially in Season 2. He, I think, only has one, and even then, it gets overshadowed by Lumity, so, yeah. And I honestly feel kind of bad because I'm like, he has a really interesting character development where he's kind of similar to Luce in a way, where he trusts people, but now after being burned so many times, he's like checking everybody like, you're not coming into my house, you're not tricking me today, no. Whereas for Willow, her character development just seems to go all over the place, and I understand it's because she hasn't been given enough screen time to really develop. I know we've been given like small hints here and there of stuff happening behind the scenes, but I'm like, we don't see what's going on in their daily lives, because if we did, then the show would never end. But, you know, we don't see what's happening, so when character development happens so quickly like that, it feels weird, and for me it felt really weird for the way that she was acting. Only like 10% did I feel weird about it. But as for Hunter, I was actually surprised by his character development because the last time we see Hunter, he's legit threatening Luce's life to Amity, and the only, like, indication that he is kind of not, like, in both episodes where Amity and Luce interact with Hunter, he does, like, 5 bad things and then 1 good thing to make up for all of it. Versus this episode with Willow, he doesn't do anything really bad. He doesn't say anything truly, you know, maniacal or evil. Like, it's like he forgets he's the Golden Guard and that he does threaten people like crazy. Like, he's shown to be very playfully sadistic, if that's the right word. Like, and I get it, I really do. I understand that characters' developments have to be sped up, but his kind of, like, threw me for a loop, I'm not gonna lie. Because I do enjoy when Hunter is being, like, semi-evil, but in this one he was just, you know, like, a kid running around having a good time, which I did enjoy. I think the only, like, the whole episode was really good. I think most of what I didn't like was just smaller detail things, and you guys know me. I'm a detail-oriented person. I can't function unless every tiny detail makes sense. I think the bigger issue that I had with the entire episode was probably the half a witch line. Now, I understand that it was used to have Hunter and Willow connect or bond or whatever, but the detail-oriented person in the back of my mind is like, why would he call himself that? That's not something he would have heard in the castle. Because one, Hunter doesn't have magic, so he's not really half a witch, Like, I understand that half a witch usually just means, like, less powerful or, like, not as good as a normal witch. But Hunter literally doesn't have magic. He doesn't have anything. He can only do magic with the staff. And the episode with Luce even proves it. He even says it twice, that, like, he was born a powerless witch. His family is powerless. And so he uses artificial magic. And I still think it's kind of funny that when he's not wearing his Golden Guard uniform, nobody knows who he is. And he even hinted about what he had to do to become the Golden Guard. So he was a scout in the beginning, so he was wearing the scout uniform. So I doubt anybody knew who he was. I don't know how he managed to survive through the scout stuff. He probably was just, like, parkouring his way through it. But I can imagine that since he's become the Golden Guard, nobody's gonna say anything. Like, nobody knows that it's Hunter in that Golden Guard uniform. They just know that he is the Emperor's nephew and he can use magic. He just uses his staff. I mean, the Coven heads seem to know that he doesn't have magic, but I doubt, like, the scouts or anyone lower than Coven heads know that Hunter can't use magic. And I doubt that they would talk shit about him in the castle because, like, again, he's the Emperor's nephew. So, I mean, even Lilith calls him a genius teen prodigy. So it's like, she doesn't know that he doesn't have magic. And, like, she was a pretty high authority too. So I don't feel like him saying that he's half a witch would ever actually have been a word he heard. Like, I doubt anyone would have said it to him. I doubt he would have ever heard it, like, whispered or whatever, because I know I'm overanalyzing it, but I really believe that that's not something he would have heard or actually picked up. And I really believe that the writers used that line in order for Willow and Hunter to connect. That's because if you're writing something, you do want to make sure that things do connect and make sense. But when you're like, oh, I need these two characters who have never seen each other or never spoken to each other, they need to have some kind of bonding moment. I cradled you in my arms. You want the characters to have a bonding moment and you want it to be genuine. But when you try to make them bond over something that a character would probably have never said or heard, it just feels kind of off. And the more I watched, I've watched the episode on, like, repeat all week, analyzing it because my brain wouldn't let it go. Because originally I thought Darius had called him half a witch, but no, he just called him Little Prince and walked away. And I'm just like, okay, so where did he pick this up from? This isn't something that I feel he would have heard, Take everything I say with the biggest, fattest pinch of salt. I do not understand the ship between Hunter and Willow. Now, I do crack ship Hunter and Edric, mostly because of their personality. They do seem to have very similar ways of speaking and acting, so I feel like somehow or another they would be either really good friends or boyfriends at the end of the day. But judging from what we know about Willow and judging what we know from Hunter, they don't have enough in common for me to really believe that they would be in a romantic relationship. Plus, the whole half a witch line, in the episode, when Willow does say it and Hunter connects with her, my mind just started burning because in the episode, Willow hasn't really proved that she's half a witch because she's done so many great things. Like, she literally yanked him from the sky and, like, embedded him into the ground, and then and then she teleports him to the field, and she shows that she's really good at the sport that she loves, and she's girl bossing all over the place. And the two times that, something happens to Willow, he's not there to hear it. Like, he doesn't hear her self-deprecating herself, and he doesn't hear the teacher talking shit. And so when she says that line in the cell and he connects with it, I'm like, how can you connect with that? She's not shown any indication that she's half a witch. Like, I mean, plus, like, you guys have been playing the game for a while. It's not like you all know each other's life stories. Like, when I used to play volleyball, me and my friends never talked during the game. Like, unless we were, screaming passes at each other. But I don't remember having a full-blown conversation about how people think I'm weak and pathetic. Or I have social anxiety. Stuff like that. It's just rushed, in my opinion. Everything felt rushed. The friendship part with everybody didn't feel too rushed. I mean, I became really close friends with my teammates pretty quickly, because, like, you truly have to be friends with your teammates in order to actually work together as a team. And, when you try out and you work really hard, you do become pretty close friends almost instantly. But you don't know anything about each other. You just know about how your friend plays during the game. You don't know their whole life. So the sports friendship did feel real, because I've gone through that. And I actually really wished that Hunter and Gus had a few more speaking lines with each other, because from what was shown, I really enjoyed, like, how they interacted with each other. But I get it, it's Willow's episode, and that's fine. Overall, ship whatever you want. I'm not bashing the ship or any of that. In my mind, it doesn't make sense because of, like, all the smaller details, and that's me. I'm a small detail person. I like to analyze super hard. I just analyze stuff to the point where I just, hyper focus on a lot of stuff. But yeah, the episode was still really good. It still was, like, super sweet and wholesome. I understand that stuff had to be rushed. I'm sorry, I have no script. I'm kind of just rambling. So don't take everything I say 100%, because I may come back and just be like, what I said wasn't correct. Let me reword myself. Sorry. But yeah, this video is mostly me sketching my House OC. I was going to draw my Sona in the beginning, but I'm still not 100% happy with the way that I've designed her. It's mostly the outfit. The face and the hair I'm very happy with, but I'm bad at drawing, like, simple witch outfits, if that makes sense. But for now, I'm going to show you guys my House OC. His name is Xander Lilly, but he goes by Zil, so Z-I-L. He's 16 years old, and he is mixed with sea folk, and it's the type of creature that his mom is, like how in the show the basilisks are basically extinct, versus his mom is the type of creature that is considered to be extinct, but is not, has just been hiding in deeper water to avoid being captured and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, his dad is a witch, like a normal witch. They end up having 3 kids together, 2 of which basically full sea folk, except for a few smaller differences. He's the only one that's, like, kind of mixed weirdly, and it's mostly just because he still looks like a witch, but a lot of his face and his ears have morphed into a more aquatic setting. He does have gills, but he covers them up. There's so much I want to talk about, but my brain can't keep up. Originally, when I designed him, I made him a little bit more swamp styled and more muted in color, but after designing his mom, I realized these color palettes don't work anymore, so I decided to go with a more darker color and added more orange. His mom does have orange in her design, and I really wanted him to have it as well, but I couldn't do anything that required me to, like, change his eyes, because I love what the color palette I've chosen. But as you can see, I've made him much taller, I've given him longer hair, and that does play into his story arc, where he tries to cover up his ears and his face with his hair, only to cut it all off when he turns 18, to symbolize that he doesn't care if people look and stare at him anymore, because he is very self-conscious about the way he looks, because it's just, he knows he's not normal. But his magic is generally very weak. It doesn't start to develop into a type of magic that he can use until he hits around 18 years old, when everything finally starts to settle down. And what I mean by that is he was born looking like a regular witch. Like, he didn't have all the scales and fish type ears and gills. He was born basically normal. And all of a sudden, the scales and the morphing started happening around 14. So now that he's turned 18, the morphing has stopped, and now his body is fully fully mixed and formed to the point where he now has the ability to use magic, but it's a little warped. His way of using magic is a little different than everybody else's. Other than that, I did tone down a lot of, like, the symbols and stuff on his outfit because I realize now I kind of went a little too overboard. I also have completely gotten rid of the palisman because I doubt he would actually have one now due to knowing that the palisman wood is, you know, almost extinct. So I decided not to give him one to keep up with the lore of the show. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But anyway, that's all I kind of have for today. I'm sorry this video isn't Kagami. I am still working on it. I don't want any of you guys to think that I'm not, because I am. I've just been in this, like, spiral of Owl House, and it's probably not going to get any better since the next episode is this Saturday, but it's a Lumity episode, so maybe I'll calm down. But yeah, I'm gonna try my hardest, I really am, to get the Kagami video done, because I really want to draw Ladybug and Cat Noir. Like, I kind of just want to skip everybody and just draw them, but I'm like, no, go in order, you said you were, but maybe I'll do Cat Noir before I do Ladybug, because he's kind of my favorite, so. And then, I'll probably start doing Owl House redesigns along with... And then sometime this month, I will be doing an Angel Dust and Alistair redesign because, surprise, Angel Dust redesign is supposed to drop this month. I don't know what day, so we will see how that goes because I'm going to keep my opinions to myself about Alistair until the next video, but you're going to get a full mouthful of what I have to say. But anyway, I really hope you liked this video. I'm sorry it's just been like a scramble of mess, but that's just me. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!